What's up, Black Sheep? Welcome to your Sunday sermon. I am so excited to be back and doing another reading for you. It's going to be a pick a card reading. And the reason that I came up with this idea around being alone, why you need alone time, I've been reconnecting with a lot of friends. I've been meeting a lot of new friends. I've been working with some clients, and a theme that has come up with almost everyone is I need to take an extra day off this week. I need to go take a little trip for myself. I need to just be home and reconnect and recommune with my pets, with just the things that are familiar to me. I need to cook some comfort meals. I need to just veg with my partner, or watch a favorite movie of ours and just relax. And I feel like there's different reasons why this is calling to all of us. And I'm so proud of you if you are doing this and honoring yourself. I'm excited for you because so much of our society is built on us ignoring our natural cues, us ignoring our bodies, continuing to push through. And by you taking that time for yourself, by you observing how you feel and noticing, how things are moving for you, moving in your body, etc., you are taking those cues and listening to them and doing what it is that is going to ground you, and ultimately what it is that's going to let you come back into all the things that you love to do and all the places that you love to be active even stronger. So I just wanted to share that. I hope that this reading resonates with you. I'm going to get to the 3 cards here. Just as a reminder, I'm doing in-person readings in Denver, Colorado every other Saturday at Alchemy Ritual Goods. If you want to book a session with me there, they are donation-based, hour-long. If it finishes before an hour, obviously, if you feel complete, then we can end our session there. But the donation-based payment covers up to an hour, which is really, really nice. AlchemyRitualGoods.com to snag one of those spots and to see my full schedule there. And then for everyone else, if you want your regular online readings, I am still doing one-on-one readings online at blacksheepexperience.com. You can book a half-hour reading, a full-hour reading, and after you book your reading with me and the reading finishes the next day, you get 7 days of content that's really short, literally 2-3 sentence emails, but it includes a topic that you can either journal around or pull some cards around if you also pull cards. And I feel like this is a great way to offer continued support to you and to give you more direct areas where you can kind of reflect or see where things are coming up for you. And these are also tailored to Black Sheep, so it's not always directly about family, but it is about the things that Black Sheep go through. And so if that's something that's interesting to you, it's going to be at blacksheepexperience.com. That comes with either the half-hour or the full-hour live reading. And with that being said, let's get to your reading. All right, my love, here are your options. So I'm not showing you the intro cards today. We are choosing with the color of these elephants here. So we have a pink elephant. This looks almost black, but it's more of a brownish, purplish, almost copper kind of mixed color. I know that's for someone. And then here we have a green elephant. So in South Asian fashion, choosing with elephants. So take a minute to pause. I actually did see someone say that if you are struggling to choose a pile, you can lay your hands kind of over each one. You can even pause the screen, walk up to the TV, or do it on your phone and see which one brings the biggest sensation of feeling. So for me, I do this when I'm choosing tarot cards. Sometimes I'll feel almost like a burning sensation in my palm, and that'll be how I choose which card feels the most right for me. As soon as you've chosen your card, click on the corresponding timestamp below, and let's jump to your reading. All right, welcome group number 1, where this says prayer answered. I love that. I honestly feel like you have been unlocking so much, and it's almost like you need to have alone time to ground back into who you really are, to ground into yourself, because you are stepping into so much. I feel like tigers could also be significant here, because I just looked up at the Animal Apothecary deck cover and there's a tiger on it, and I never noticed that before. So just leaving that if it's significant for you. But with prayer answered, it's like you've been working so hard, and it's not to say that the work is automatically done or that it's over, but you know that there's a different energy that you are embodying, and a different energy that is welcoming you. It's like I'm hearing more money, more problems, but it's not actually that. It's just the idea of different energy, different problems, right? It's even your problems now are different than what they used to be. And that's another sign that things are shifting. For so long, you felt like, I keep seeing this idea of like a tectonic shift. It feels like for a long time you have been trying to kind of like, you're moving in between two worlds, not like you're stable, but neither world feels completely stable. You're not fully out of the old world yet. You're not fully in the new world yet. And so it feels like your entire existence has been a liminal space. And that's why you need to ground into yourself with this card and just with the energy that I'm getting for this pile. I'm going to start flipping over cards here. So I wanted to shuffle ahead of time just to save on time and like really kind of get to the point with this reading. But the first row is why you need alone time. And the second row is what's coming from it, right? And this is already a little bit interesting. There were actually, whoa. Okay, I had seen that maybe two cards came out with this. Like I moved this to pick the card up and like set the spread up. And I did not know that the King of Pentacles was in this reading. So that is actually crazy. And sorry, I was not looking at the camera where I'm filming. I was looking down at the cards. So I'll try to do that more so you actually can see better of what's going on. So I'd only really asked for, I'm going to actually scoot everything a little closer. I had only really asked for 3 cards on the top row, 3 cards on the bottom, but clearly Spirit had more to say for you. Okay, so what I'm really seeing here is that you have been, you're almost needing this alone time so that you can refuel yourself in order to reconnect not only with what fills your cup, but also with people around you. You have been so used to people betraying you, people breaking your trust, people just being really frustrating, people giving up on you, I'm hearing. It feels like it's been really tough for you to find a solid friend group, and not just a friend group that you connect with, but also that gets along with each other, right? It's almost like maybe you had a group of a few friends, but then they started having issues amongst themselves, and then that broke up the friend group as well. So there's different things that could be at play here, but ultimately, you are preparing for a new wave of friendships and a new way of relating to yourself. You are also preparing to hold yourself in this higher regard of someone who, one, is more disciplined, but B, is also someone who can show up as a leader or show up as someone that can hold their own ground. Like, that idea feels really important here. When I say leader, it's not like you're trying to lead a bunch of people or have like a direct following. It's more like, how can you be in this position of standing behind what you say, walking the talk, like actually putting into action what it is that you're doing, being able to answer for yourself, being able to hold steady in your beliefs, even if other people are challenging them or even if other people don't agree with them. All of that feels really, really important with this Hierophant card. And again, the discipline is also big here. This can often be kind of a traditional card, but what I'm seeing here is like I said this in one of the other readings I did, but you are your own authority. And I think I even said that in relation to the Emperor recently, but this message in general is coming through again, where it's like, maybe you used to be a people pleaser, or you used to just want to make everyone happy or want to make everyone heard. And in doing that, you used to water down yourself quite a bit. And it's interesting that I'm talking about water with all of these water cards here, but you're now learning that you can disagree with someone and still respect them, but also still demand respect for yourself. And you're not letting yourself just get walked over. And you're also saying, like, even if I make a mistake, I'm choosing to own that mistake or even own it publicly rather than shrink and hide and make myself small and act like I don't deserve to be seen. There's something grounded here in the way that you're being seen. And there's something about, again, your relationship to yourself, even your relationship to Spirit here, and your relationship to your community and the people around you, where it's becoming more fluid. It's becoming, you're not worried as much about like, oh, you did this, so I have to be this. Like, it's not so transactional, and you see yourself as part of something now, and that's why you don't feel like you have to hold on to every little thing. Before, it's not like you necessarily weren't generous or you didn't have the ability to be fluid or to be less transactional, but it was like that almost came up as a coping mechanism because there were so many times that you were taken advantage of, so many times where you were left in the cold, essentially, that you started feeling like, okay, if I don't keep track of what I'm doing for other people, if I don't make it almost a science, then I'm going to get taken advantage of. And now, because you're in the right environments, because you're meeting the right people or have already met a lot of the right people, you are no longer worried about being taken advantage of or being betrayed in that sense. And that is allowing you to have a more fluid connection with your community, with the people around you. You're more willing to show up for them, to go the extra mile for them. And you know that if you ever need anything, you can count on them. And that's almost what's making you feel like you don't need anything, not in a way of denying yourself, because if you did need something, you would say it. But there's something shifting here about like how they are, about how you express yourself. And it's like you used to almost always see yourself as this victim or as this helpless person or as this person who was always alone. And that how you're seeing yourself is shifting. And because of this new way that you relate to yourself, you're now like, okay, I'm good actually. Like I don't need anything right now. And if I do need something, I know who to ask. I know who to reach out to. I know how to take care of myself. I know how to not shame myself for that. So because of that, you're seeing yourself actually in your privilege or in all the things that you have. You're becoming more grateful for what you have, even if it's not always perfect, because you actually see yourself as not a victim anymore. Like that part feels really, really important. This victim mindset or mentality might be something that you have really intentionally been shedding. And actually, I see that here a little bit with the Seven of Pentacles. It's interesting because this card came up when I asked why this alone time, like what this alone time is helping you do. And I think I'm actually hearing the word alchemy. So it almost feels like you are alchemizing a lot of this mindset that you had around waiting, right? Waiting for my gifts, waiting for my rewards, waiting for things to show up. And in constantly waiting for things to reward you or for things to become fair or for your hard work to pay off, that may start out as a very noble wish or as something that is very genuine, but it can also connect you to this victim mindset, right? It can also make you feel like, okay, I am constantly begging, I'm constantly waiting for things to work out, which then reinforces the idea that they are not working out right now. Right? There's been this stark difference, and that's why this Hierophant is so important. You are truly owning yourself and owning the good, bad, and the ugly, and that is allowing you to be in a place of power rather than feeling this way. And with these cards, again, these came up when I asked why you need this alone time. So you might have been really centered around this feeling of the Seven of Pentacles. Like, when is it going to pay off? When are things going to turn out the way I want them to? When are things going to work out? And with this time that you're taking for yourself, with this time that you're taking on a trip or to ground or whatever it is that you're doing for yourself, you are reminding yourself of these things. That you do have a great relationship with yourself that you've worked for, that you do have a community who's willing to show up and you'll show up for them, that you do have discipline and the ability to take authority over your life, the ability to own your mistakes, the ability to be seen, the ability to be grounded in your opinions, right? So let's get into this. We have some really incredible cards here. So the Queen of Wands and okay, the Queen of Wands is telling me that you are owning your creativity. I'm hearing in 2026, especially, like you are taking your creativity to the next level. And finally, it's like creating for you has become more fun. Also, with this Black Cat, I'm seeing that you're actually very protected in this. You may be feeling senses of being more and more protected. Also with the fiery things you want to do, right? With this Wands card, with this Wands energy in general, like it is a fire card, but it feels like the more that you push yourself, the more that you do the things that light you up in that right anger, or the more that you fight for other people, the more that you use your creativity, like the more that you'll be protected. It's like you are protected in your own arena. And the more that you're able to own that and push those boundaries and push those limits and say things that other people don't want to hear and do it in the way that only you can, you will be protected in that boldness. So the times that you've been worried about pushing things too far or saying something you shouldn't, or, all those things that come up. Dog barking might be confirmation. The more that you're pushing things in that space, the more that you will also see that you are protected in doing that, because that is literally what you're here for. Okay, sorry, there's kids screaming outside, so it's making my dogs bark a lot. But again, with the strength card, the last thing that came to mind is just the infinity sign above her head. And what that's really telling me too is that you are really believing that all things are possible, and you're willing to push yourself to the next level by knowing that you can tame this inner beast, right? You can be kind to, I'm even getting kind of limiting beliefs with this lion here. So the idea of like every time you want to play small, every time you want to second guess yourself, every time you want to, go for an opportunity and then backtrack, or all those things that you do that are your unique bad habits or your unique ways that you hold yourself back, that is what you believe you are actually willing to overcome. And that is what makes all things possible. Like, you're no longer seeing these limitations as something that are above you or as the truth. And that's a big part of it too. It's like you would look at these limiting beliefs as the final truth. And with this, and again, with the fluidity that's coming up in this reading, it's like you're more willing to see the other sides of things. You're more willing to see the nuance in things, and you're more willing to push yourself and also contract in those moments where you're like, you know what? I do just need a minute. I do just need to take care of myself. And that's what you're doing too with this alone time that you're taking. You are contracting. You're allowing yourself to be cared for or to reground. And that is exactly what you need to do. That's why I mentioned that at the start of this video. Like, you are getting that message to care for yourself, and you're following through. The King of Pentacles, I mean, we always love to see her. She is beautiful. Really, this idea of slowness is coming up really big for me, and it feels like you are actually shifting your relationship with time a little bit. You are seeing time as something that is on your side, and maybe that's a limiting belief that you can take with you. Time is on my side. That could be really, really helpful for you. The other thing is that, I mean, the finances seem to be there. Like the Queen of Wands and the King of Pentacles together, like this is really great for your career and financial life. Like, I love that for you. And it also is like such a challenge to this energy, right? This energy of like hoping, wishing, waiting. It's like you're finally starting to see those things, and you're also rooting into gratitude. And a big part of this limiting belief that you're shifting as well is like thinking that once you're there, everything's going to be perfect. And with the Hierophant, there's, again, like you're seeing more nuance with the Strength card. With the Hierophant, you're able to see things in a more holistic way without taking everything so personally. And because of that, that's what's making these two cards pop. That's what's making them shine, right? It's like you're willing to, and also all the green here is really significant. The green and the yellows might also stand out to you as well, as significant cards. And again, that's also, I think, why the word alchemy came up here. It's like you're alchemizing all these worries and frustrations in, and even the seeds that you planted, right? They've been composted, they're growing, like things have fertilized these seeds, and the soil is becoming rich for you to bear these gifts. And gardening may also be significant for you as well, which is really cool. What I'm seeing here is that the King of Pentacles, okay, what I was saying before, it's like you've taken these fears and turned them into something where you believe that you can kind of do all things, right? You know that you can actualize whatever it is, even if you have to be patient, even if you have to be forgiving of yourself, even if you have to be calm. But finally, the end goal is far more important than your ego. You're reconnecting to your creativity, to your finances, to your goals from a place of your higher self, not just from your ego. And I think that is super, super important. And actually, speaking of that, if you're in Denver, I'm hosting a 3-part workshop called Embody Your Alter Ego, ALTAR, because it's the self that you've been praying for, asking your guides for, asking your deities for, right? Like, help me become this person. That is what I'm helping you embody. So it's going to be 3 months. We're going to have a PowerPoint party. We're going to get into the details of who that version of ourselves is. It could be a fantastical version, or it could be something that is grounded in reality. However playful you want to get, however imaginative you want to get, that's what we're doing. And it's going to be so incredible. I even wrote a meditation for it. Like, we are using nervous system regulation. We're combining so many tools, but we're also making it really fun and really creative. And I think that that's something that we truly need to bring back into the healing space. So I wanted to shout that out, because if this pile is resonating with you and this reading is resonating with you and you live in Denver, I'm thinking you need to come to this, okay? The tickets are also going to be at alchemyritualgoods.com. But let's get to these final two cards here, right? The Page of Wands and the Page of Cups. What's interesting about these cards, again, we mentioned limiting beliefs, right? And also kind of alchemizing these limiting beliefs that you were facing before. It feels like you might be in a year one right now. If you follow numerology, you may also just notice that there's a lot of new beginnings, right? It's like you're well seasoned in the work that you do, but there's also a lot of newness coming up for you. There's also a lot of change coming up for you. And because of that, it's like you get to be at the start of a fresh new cycle in a way that actually feels exciting. I just saw 555 on the timer as well. But in this new cycle, you get to enjoy being a beginner again. In a lot of spaces, you have been so frustrated at being the beginner because it's just felt like you know how talented you are and you've been discounted your whole life, right? So it's like, how am I supposed to believe in myself? I just want to be taken seriously. I want people to know who I am. Like, all of those things kept coming up for you. But now that you have that, now that you believe in that, now that you believe that that is your reality, it's like, okay, wait, this is kind of fun that I get to start all over knowing all the things that I know now. You know, it's kind of fun to see what limiting beliefs are residual and coming up, and I get to hold myself and be tender through that because I've had practice doing that. Even with the Page of Wands, you may get a lot of ideas that are quick, or you just like see a lot of things that are coming up that you want to follow, but you're also like, okay, wait, I am getting overwhelmed. So how do I look at kind of my grown-up self, my experienced self to do this, right? How do I ask that person who is more seasoned, who is more experienced, how to actualize this? And all of the energy here is centered around actualizing these ideas. So you may have a little bit of like, I want to do this idea, and then I realized like it's not right now, or it's not for me. And you're being able to be more discerning and more picky and choosy about what it is that you actually spend your time doing, because you know that it's coming true, because you know that it's going to be realized. So you're done kind of living in this like world of just pretend, and you're like, I'm doing this, like I am making this happen, and I love that for you. So that is going to be the end of your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I have one-on-one online readings at blacksheepexperience.com. If you're in Denver and you want a donation-based one-on-one reading with me, you can book that at alchemyritualgoods.com. I love you so much, and remember that you're worthy whether you believe it or not. Bye. Okay, group 2, welcome to your reading. We have a lot of energy to get into here. I did go ahead and shuffle for all the cards in the reading just to keep a watch on time, but your animal apothecary card was Let Go Barry, and I was not one bit surprised when the Death card and Tarot came out. These two cards are complementing each other quite a bit, but it really feels like you are obviously being asked to let go, right? You are really in a process of releasing so much, and you know that, and it kind of feels good. Like, it feels bad but good, because you're just so done, you're so ready. And something that's coming up here is like, maybe anger was a big part of this decision for the alone time that you wanted to spend. Like, you were just getting frustrated, you started losing kind of the love for things that you used to love, your hobbies weren't hitting the same, like you're just like, I just need to like get out of town. And maybe for this collective, more of you completely left town or went on a little solo trip, or even a long drive for yourself. Like, you did something. The other thing that was coming up, I didn't mention this in the other reading, but I did have my little card here that is just from the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck, and I just kind of always have a background card here to emphasize a meaning. I usually don't talk about it. It's just kind of there as a sign for anyone who notices it. But the sloth and digital detox was really coming up. It says recalibrate, reset, and recharge here. So I know you need this break. I know you need it. You may have been really procrastinating taking a break because you're the kind of person that pushes through anything. But the words digital detox are also really sticking out to me here. And it feels like you have so many other people's voices in your heads. You may be very much the chronically online friend, and we love that. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you do have to watch for your mental health. And like, doom scrolling or being online cannot be your only hobby. Like, I swear, it's like time's up for that. Okay, like, you're not giving all of your money to like unethical apps, like, and all of your time to unethical apps. Like, we have to do more, and that might be something that you're really coming to terms with as well. And it doesn't mean you have to like give up your love for social media or creating on it, but you can still take breaks or be more intentional about your use there. And that feels really important. But with death and with let go and bury, you are realizing that you did have bad habits. And like, you may have also had a habit of being like, oh, well, I've done so much healing work. Like, you didn't never really felt like you were healed, but you felt like you were healed enough, right? So part of you also felt like this entire cycle of death, this entire process is really like, oh, it kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of hit you out of nowhere, right? And that feels important to mention. But again, I'm proud of you for doing the right thing for yourself and like choosing yourself. So this top row of cards are why you needed the alone time, and then the bottom row of cards are what's going to come from it, what's going to shift, right? We have the Tower card here, and I'm kind of like jumping around a little bit in this reading, and I feel like it makes sense for the person that you are. Maybe that resonates with you, but the Tower card here is telling me that things really are going to be shaken up. And it's not like the day you get back or as soon as you're back, things are going to be different. But like, you can feel that there's been a big shift here for you on the verge. And you're just like, what is happening, right? But with death, with Tower, like, you are truly being set up for your new life, for the new things that are coming to you. And this doesn't mean everything in your life is going to change either. But when I look back, the Tower moments that I had in my life, they may have felt stressful or painful or confusing, but they were the best things that ever happened to me that ultimately put me in alignment. And that is exactly what's happening for you. And you may have also really needed this time to rest and recharge because you can feel this shift coming. And you're like, I need all the energy I can get to get through this. Something here is coming up with the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. I feel like if these are part of the reason why you needed alone time, maybe there's a shift coming in your finances or just like something to do with work. That was really kind of frustrating you. Maybe there's some sort of truth around work that you have been wanting to overlook or deny. Some of you may be like coming to terms with the fact that you're really not in a healthy work environment, or maybe you have an unhealthy relationship to your work or what you do. And that feels like that's also what was really making you angry, because it wasn't something you could hide or avoid from. It's like every day you're coming across this. I'm also hearing speak your mind. So maybe a lot of this is related to like a relationship that you have, a coworker, a relationship with your boss, whatever it is. And like, you have been holding back so much because you just think it's the easier thing to do, or you've been trying to be polite, or you've been trying to call yourself out and, you know, kind of take a handle on yourself, but it's bothering you enough that like you need to just speak up at this point and speak your mind. And I think you'll be surprised that there are more people that want to actually help you and work with you and collaborate with you than you thought, or that the person that you're talking to actually cares about how you feel more than you think that they do. So that feels really, really important to mention. Again, we have all pentacles and then one sword other than the major arcana. So maybe you're an earth sign, maybe you have a lot of earth in your chart, but something's coming up here too around like, even with the Tower, like these are very reinforced day-to-day parts of your reality that are undergoing this shift. Some of this shift could also be, again, like with this kind of coworker thing that I was talking about, that could also be something that's coming up with this change. You realizing that people are there for you, you also realizing who you don't need to be working with anymore, or who you don't need to be, collaborating with or making space for, or just that that person can still be there, but something needs to shift, something needs to change in the way that you're doing things. I'm hearing the word burden. So maybe for a lot of you, it feels like you have been burdened with too much and like the work is imbalanced. You're doing too much of like the boring side. And maybe you're this person that's like, oh, like I'm good at logic and I'm good at these things and I'm just going to take, handle it. But then, like, if you're in partnership or in a business and then you're like, okay, things have been going on for way too long. The other person has never stepped up. I look at them and I'm getting resentful and I just need a break, or we need to hire out, or this person needs to do more. Like, I can't handle it all by myself. And that's a big part of what's coming up. Also, with the Two of Pentacles, that message is also kind of reflected. Like, I can't do it all by myself. I'm like trying to balance things and trying to figure things out. And, I no longer have room for play and creativity in my work because I'm just trying to keep this boat afloat. I'm just trying to keep this ship sailing. That feels really important here. You may also reconnect with water or feel really grounded around water. Maybe your trip was to a lake or to the ocean or to something like that, or you feel like that's been calling your name. And if it is and you're able to, I highly recommend even making a short trip or finding a way to incorporate that in your year this year. The other thing that I'm getting from this is the idea of neurodivergence, right? I talk about that sometimes with the Two of Pentacles, like feeling like your kind of mind is all over the place, or maybe like you're more like your mind is just more scattered than it usually is, or you're having a hard time like getting a hold of your ADHD, or having a hard time being able to concentrate or do one thing at a time. Things like that I feel like come up with my collective a lot with the Two of Pentacles. So that could be another sign for you, like you might be like facing that or confronting that a little bit more after this alone time. So and actually I just started feeling a little bit lightheaded. Like, I'm okay, but that feeling did kind of come up. So maybe that's something where it's like I'm really getting drawn to the mind. Like, it feels, I'm hearing the word absent-minded, which I don't know if I love that word. That's not really like a term that I use a lot because it feels kind of like an insult. And it actually was used to insult me a lot. So maybe that's why I have an aversion to it. But yeah, it feels like you're struggling to be present. And that's something that you're coming to terms with when you get back. So it's like you feel really present and really good during your alone time. I'm getting that vibe that you're taking a minute to really like reset, to have less voices in your head, to take a time, kind of away from all your usual stuff. But then when you come back, it almost feels like you're going to confront the fact that your routines haven't been supporting you, or it might just be one thing you have to change, right? It could literally just be the social media. Like, I need to not be on social media after 7 p.m. every night, or maybe you like whatever it is that works for you, setting some sort of boundary, maybe even doing a 7-day challenge or a 5-day challenge or something like that to kind of like shake things up, and to allow you to kind of figure out like, okay, what is it that is the most disturbing to me? Is it, this habit, or is it this thing or this thing? And kind of experimenting with that to get a little more grounded and a little more like feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, and like your personality is coming back. The last thing I'm going to say for this collective is like, even though it doesn't always feel like it, weather has been absolutely crazy everywhere. And where I live in Colorado, it's been like 70 degrees. So it doesn't really feel like winter, but we are still in the middle of winter. And sometimes it can feel worse if the weather doesn't align with winter, because we're not doing winter activities. We're not taking the extra time to rest and recover. We are just kind of acting like it's summer and pushing ourselves, and everything's go go go, and that can also get really frustrating. So this is just a reminder that like it is still winter, and it's okay if you need to take more rest than usual. It's okay if you feel like you're off your game a little bit. It's okay if things feel a little bit dreary or hopeless, or like you just feel so monotonous. Like, do something to shake it up, do something to spice it up. Maybe this alone trip is going to do that for you. But just know that a lot of this will also pass as it does. And I'm so proud of you for shedding, and for starting this new journey. Things really are going to pick up, and they really are going to begin to shift. And I just hope that you're able to truly enjoy that as it happens, and know that it's ultimately happening to align you for the better. So I'm sending you so, so much love. If you want an in-person reading from me in Denver, Colorado, I'm going to be doing readings alternating Saturdays at Alchemy Ritual Goods. You can book your spot at alchemyritualgoods.com. If you are wanting to get a reading with me online, those are always available with a 60-minute or a 30-minute reading. You can stay in the comfort of your own home. And those are going to be at blacksheepexperience.com. Remember that you're worthy whether you believe it or not. Bye. Okay, group number 3. I'm going to keep it real with you. I know things have been hard. Every time I see this card, Immense Growth, with the vulture on it, I know that things have been hard. And what this card really talks about is the idea of suffering overall, and how suffering has a role, it has a purpose, but that doesn't make it any easier. Why you need alone time truly is because you are learning to heal your own wounds. You really just needed a time out because you have been pushing and going every single day, but honestly, in a positive way. Even the times that you didn't believe in yourself, even the times that you were struggling to see what the point even was, you still took action. You still got up and took care of your kids, or went to work, or made the other content that you need to make, or chose yourself and did the things that you needed to do. And I honestly think that that is so admirable, and you may not be giving yourself enough credit for that, but I hope that that's what this alone time kind of reconnects you to doing, because you really truly deserve it. And you're almost the kind of person that like doesn't give yourself that credit unless you see the rewards. You're like, oh, I can reward myself if someone else rewards me, or I make a big sale, or I do this thing, I reach this achievement, I take this goal. But then it's like, you look at the money that, say you make a sale, right? And that's what you want to celebrate. And then you take the money and you break it down, and then you take one tiny little fracture, and then you find the cheapest thing that you can buy within that amount. It's like, you need to unabashedly celebrate yourself. And I don't even know if that's like reflected in these other cards, but that's coming through so strongly in this channel. It's like, you constantly put yourself down, you put yourself last, you worry about yourself the least, and that needs to change radically. Like, that behavior is not going to carry you through where you need to go. And the top level is going to be the reason why you needed this alone time, and this bottom row of cards is going to be why, like, what's going to happen after taking this alone time to yourself, right? What I'm seeing here is like, you were constantly being the strong one. You were being the one that held it all together, but inside you were honestly crumbling. And maybe some of you shared these feelings with your best friends, or with your partner, or with people around you who care about you. But a lot of you also probably, even when sharing that, held some things in, or made some things look or sound a little better than they actually were. Like, it almost feels like you lost a complete connection with yourself. I don't know, I'm almost seeing someone like watch this and start to cry, because you're finally acknowledging how hard it really has been, and you're not just forcing yourself to push through things. I just looked up right directly at my stash of chamomile, dried chamomile that I use for tea and for rituals and things. And if you're able to use chamomile in any way, in tea, in a soak for your feet, in your bath, even, using chamomile, like a lotion that has that or something like that. I feel like something about that might be really, really soothing to you and to your nervous system. And like, I'm hearing the word denial, and it really feels like there's been a lot of denial here. As soon as this reading came up, I immediately started speaking like a million miles an hour. So maybe you've just been like constantly going. Your mind is constantly running. That happens a lot with this Two of Pentacles card. Like, you have been feeling so much, but then repressing it and putting it down, and just like barreling through life. And again, I'm proud of you for doing the things that you needed to do, for not giving up, for continuing to choose yourself in certain ways. But like, there needs to be a shift in how you care for yourself. And I'm so glad you're taking this alone time to remind yourself of that, right? This Page of Wands is interesting. I feel like you've been reaching for creative ideas, but things have felt really dry. I'm really getting drawn to kind of the desert landscape here, and it just feels like everything's just felt dry. I don't know why that word is coming up. I'm seeing dry skin. I'm seeing a dry landscape. I'm just seeing something that feels really thirsty. Actually, that could be kind of like a play on words. Like, maybe you've been really desperate for this creative thing to work out, or feeling like you're really reaching outside of yourself for something. There's just been a lot going on with like why you needed this alone time. And I'm, again, just so proud of you for taking this time, because so much is coming for you when you get back or in like the following months, right? I'm seeing that you're kind of looking at all of your options and you may be a little overwhelmed with all the options that you have, either around a certain decision or as soon as you come back, you're like, oh my God, I have to do all these things and handle all this. And, it starts to feel a little overwhelming, but, it feels like at least that you're in the right place. And you also are seeing, like, before it's like you used to get overwhelmed because you thought that you had to do everything, and now you're willing to say no to things. Like, I'm seeing this as like a video game, and like, you flick it and it pops and goes away, and then you like lessen the cups until you just have the few things that you actually care about or that you actually want to balance. And you're gonna have the strength to say no. You're gonna have the strength to turn things down. With the Eight of Wands, this can also be a card that things are kind of speeding up, but that's why it's going to be so important for you to be incredibly discerning with where you spend your time, because the things that you really care about, they are going to speed up. I'm also seeing that you're going to be able to speed up. You've been maybe feeling really lethargic, or you've been running on cortisol and adrenaline, and your adrenals are just tired. Like, you're all tired. You're always tired. You might have even started reaching for that second or third cup of coffee or energy drink during the day, even though that's not what you normally do, just to keep up with the workload of what you have going on. And I'm seeing with this Eight of Wands that you are also going to be able to move a little bit faster, move a little more quickly. But again, it's really going to depend on how many things you take off of your to-do list, right? How many things you stop trying to do and stop trying to perfect and just kind of letting things move forward. But it feels like your motivation to keep things moving forward is going to stay there and increase as well. The Six of Swords, a transition, right? And with it being in the middle of this, it also really feels like maybe you are preparing for a move. Maybe you're manifesting a move. Maybe this is a little more metaphorical, but maybe there's a transition of a job, or maybe you're just moving to a new home or apartment in your new city. Something about this feels really significant here. And in my mind's eye, I was also seeing the Six of Cups. So it feels like the change that you're making is going to be a lot more aligned with your inner child. Like when you were a kid or even a preteen and you dreamed about what life would be like as an adult, with no limitations or no, concept of like what money really is or changes in the economy and all of that. Like, you're reconnecting to little pieces of that, and that feels really significant as well. The Nine of Cups here is telling me that you are getting more comfortable receiving, and this alone time that you have. And actually, just looking at this card and speaking about it, I automatically feel that I've been speaking a little bit more slowly. And so it feels like you're gonna finally be able to slow down a little bit. This could also be in relation to this move that you're making, this transition that's coming up for you. It could even be a mindset transition, but it could even be around like not having to move as quickly. And just being more comfortable, like receiving help as well, but also kind of knowing who you are. And this card can often tip in the direction of like ego or being a little too smug or getting too a little caught up. But it feels like, so, I mean, I guess just watch out for that. Because you possibly could tip in that direction. But what I'm seeing more so is because of everything that you've been through, if you can remain grounded in where you've come from, in all the things that you've done, you are going to feel that you are a little bit less pressured. You're a little bit less like everything needs to happen right now and everything needs to be perfect and we just need to go and like I just need to make it work. Like, instead of that energy, you're just a little bit more like, okay, I'll be here when it finds me, but I'm good either way. It's almost like a little bit of that is coming up here, and that's what I want you to focus on and embody. Where that can go left is like, oh, I'm not going to lift a finger. Everything's just going to work out for me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fight for anyone's rights. I don't have to, like be the bigger, not bigger person, but like, I don't have to push myself. I don't have to, be anything. Like, everything's just fine. And like, there's some merit to thoughts like that, but they can really go overboard and keep you ultimately disconnected from community. And I feel like that's not what you need right now. All these cards are single people though, like someone alone. So maybe there is a little bit of like, how can I root into community in order to receive as well? The last thing I'm seeing here is the high priestess, and this is telling me that your intuition is going to be speaking loudly. The more that you kind of silence the things that are going on around you, the more that you kind of are able to take a moment of stillness to tune in. This could even be right before you drift off to sleep. This could be in the morning. This could be when you're waiting for your car to warm up in the morning before work. This could be, when you're drinking your morning coffee. Like, you don't have to add an hour of meditation to your day if you genuinely can't, but you can be more present. You can take more time for stillness. And if you don't take time for it, you're never going to find it. So if you're exhausted from rushing around and doing all these things, like, you're going to have to change something or things won't change. And it really feel like I'm calling you out a little bit, but that's important. But the more that you do find that stillness, the more that you will hear this clear voice, and you won't be as confused about where to spend your time and energy and what to do and how to do things, because you'll know. Like, it's not to say that you'll have every answer in life, but you'll at least know that you're in the right spaces, or you'll know that you're putting your energy toward the right things. And that's going to take a lot of that decision fatigue that you're experiencing out of it, and allow you to just feel more confident in who you are and where you're going. So I hope that this reading resonated with you. If you would like an online reading with me, you can do so at blacksheepexperience.com. I have half hour and full hour readings online. And then if you are in Denver, Colorado, and you would like an in-person reading with me, I'm going to be at Alchemy Ritual Goods on alternating Saturdays, and you can find my schedule and reserve your spot at alchemyritualgoods.com. So I love you so, so much. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And with that being said, I hope that you remember that you are worthy, whether you believe it or not.